I'm the Red Lady and welcome to this episode 3 in the series Shamanic Witchcraft 101. Today I'm going to be talking about energetically cleansing your personal space or ridding your home of any negative energy staining that has built up over the years. And I will talk you through some simple methods that you can use to do this, and I will also explain to you what energy staining is and exactly why it's important to clear it, especially if you are just beginning to develop your psychic abilities or starting out in your magical or healing practice. Energetic staining in the home is mostly made up of the leftover clingy energy from past arguments and negative emotions, and the same applies to positive energy and positive emotions, so they can cling as well, but it's the negative staining that is going to cause you the most trouble. And the best thing to do is to clear everything away so that you can proceed on your magical and psychic development, path with a clean slate. So these energetic impressions, depending on how strong or how weak they are, will affect you on a daily basis, whether you're aware of this or not. And so whenever you move into a new home, you are living amongst the energetic stains of all the previous families that lived there before. That's a lot of emotional turbulence. It's not advisable to develop your psychic awareness in a place that has all this old and stagnant energy attached to it, because as a beginner, that energy is going to interfere with your signals from spirit. And if you clear the space you are going to be living and developing your psychic awareness in, then you will be less prone to becoming confused about what energy you're picking up and where it's originating from. Now, once these stains have been cleansed, your house should feel a lot more peaceful and stable with its energy, almost like brand new. Now, I would suggest as a first step a one-off intense energy cleanse, and then all you need to do is to regularly do mini cleanses to keep on top of that, maybe once a month or once a fortnight or weekly or whenever you feel you need to do it. So if you happen to be in the parent of a teenager or teenagers, or live with teenagers, or are a teenager, or there are lots of children at home that can cause quite a lot of emotional turbulence, then certainly have a mini cleanse weekly. So first of all, how does the energy feel in the space that you're focused on? Does it feel heavy or sad or angry? How do you feel in that space? You might be lucky and the negative energy in your home might be minimal. But if you feel unwell much of the time, or depressed or anxious, but you notice a difference when perhaps you leave the house or you're in somebody else's house and you love it there. You love being there. You don't really want to go home because the energy there feels so much better than in your own home. If that's the case, you could be dealing with a case of heavy negative energy staining in your house. And this is something that can be rectified. So even if you don't have a problem like this or too much of a problem with it, when you begin to develop your psychic abilities or start a magical practice, then you need to learn to energetically clear the space you live in, your immediate environment. If it's just one room, your bedroom, for example, because you live with your parents, or you're in a shared residence, or whether it's the whole house that needs to be done, you know, the place or room or rooms that you spend the most time in need to be cleansed. And, you know, there are a few reasons why you need to do this. So you need to establish a clear space that holds an energy of equilibrium and balance. And that balanced energy is important to act as a baseline marker for any magical work or psychic work or healing work you do. So when you are raising your vibrations for psychic development, magical practice or healing, you need to start with an energetically clean environment. And when you finish that work or that particular session, you need to cleanse again to bring that area back into the state of balance again. So another reason you should do this is because a balanced environment helps keep you balanced as well. So as a beginner, you cannot do magical work or psychic work, and you most certainly cannot do any healing work in an energetically dirty environment, because that can have an unfavourable effect. And, you know, working repeatedly from this balanced baseline of energy, after time you will begin to notice when that energy changes for whatever reason that may be. So if you've had someone in your house who is particularly angry or sad or hyper, or if you had a party or a family or friends gathering of some sort, after everyone has gone, you will feel the difference in your environment from that gathering, depending on what transpired on that occasion and the personalities and character types that were there. You know, if you are energetically cleansing your house regularly and keeping the energy more or less constantly at this balanced baseline, then you are going to notice when something changes in that energy field. And this is an important part of learning about the energy of different environments and learning about the energy of a room, how it can change when a spirit is present, and from there the kind of energy that that spirit brings with it as well. You know, you always start with cleansing your own personal energy. Now, we covered that in Shamanic Witchcraft 101, Episode 2, how to ground and psychically protect yourself. You know, then you turn your attentions to the energy of your immediate environment. And when you have learned to properly gauge and understand your own energy and the energy of your own environment, and are consciously and regularly clearing that energy until it becomes second nature to you, until you get to the point where, you know, you couldn't possibly think of not doing it, because you are beginning to notice the difference when you don't do it. So having a I must do this mindset is key. Now, as I said in episode 2, self-discipline is another important aspect of magical practice, because you are then equipped to begin to learn to gauge and deal more effectively with the energy of other people and other environments that are not your personal space. So you will, you know, begin to notice that you are more easily able to read other people, whether you are looking to be a psychic consultant or a tarot reader, or develop your mediumship or healing abilities. You know, coming from a cleansed space, you will be much more able to tune into different energies with practice. And you will notice if something about your personal space isn't right, if there is a change in the energy because there is a spirit present, or if you have invited a spirit into your personal space to work with, and you can now feel or perceive that spirit, you know, more clearly, because you don't have this messy energy interrupting that connection. So if you happen to have something beyond energetic staining in your home, if there are indications that you have a resident spirit there, you know, there are things you can do depending on whether the spirit is friendly or unfriendly. If it's friendly, it might be able to assist you in some way, or you just might want it to go away. You know, it's unlikely that you have a resident spirit, but it does happen. Trust me, it does happen. And by resident spirit, what I mean is not your average spirit that will come and go, because we are surrounded by spirits that come and go all the time. And as a spirit worker or a developing spirit worker, you will in time learn how to randomly stop these spirits from coming and going in your personal space. But what I'm talking about here is a strong spirit manifestation that actually resides in your home and is strong enough to cause phenomena. Anyway, that is very slightly off topic, and I will do a video focusing on that specifically at some point in the future. But in this 101 video, I want to focus on, you know, energetically cleansing your space as a standard beginner's procedure that every beginner needs to learn to do to get themselves ready for psychic development or beginning a magical practice or a healing practice. So, you know, there might be items in your home that carry certain strong energies of their own, and if so, you know, these will need to be cleansed as well if you really feel that they need to be cleansed. So, you know, this is because they may be old pieces of furniture or old knickknacks you picked up in thrift shops or second-hand shops, and they may need to be cleansed as well. Not always, but they may. Your first step for a first off intensive cleanse is to clear out any junk you don't need and thoroughly clean that room. Or if you need to clean the whole house or apartment or whatever, wherever you live, then take it one room at a time. Don't, you know, overwhelm yourself by trying to do it all in one day. If you have a big house, or if you haven't done any deep cleaning for a while, if it takes a week or longer, you know, to work through those rooms, then that's fine. But try and be as thorough as you can be. If you feel any area needs, you know, a fresh coat of paint, then by all means, you know, do that as well. It's not totally necessary, but it will help change the energy of that room. So now the room is clean and clutter-free, you know, must focus your intentions on cleansing the energy that you can't see. So holding the intention to clear away all energetic staining, you know, you can use a bell, a singing bowl or something similar and ring it loud for as long as you feel you need to. You know, 3, 5 or 10 minutes might be a decent time frame for that very first in-depth cleanse. You know, a few minutes should be fine. You know, it's up to you. But you do need to hold that intention and focus the intention that you are clearing away all energetic staining. You know, it really depends on how you feel about the space and how much clearing you think it needs. So you can also cleanse with smoke by burning herbs such as sage or rosemary. As a beginner, you don't have to make these things. You can buy smudge sticks in any spiritual or witchcraft store. If you have the herbs in your garden or kitchen cupboard, you know, you can use those. You don't have to go spending a lot of money. If you don't have any, just use what you've got. Burn the herbs, you know, in the room, making sure the smoke has filled the room and got into all the corners. Again, holding the intention to cleanse away all the energetic staining present. Now, you can state this out loud or silently. If you're interested in making your own smudge sticks, you know, I'll put some links below that show you how to do this. Now, you can also use energetic cleansing fluids that are custom made for this type of clearing. Florida water is a really good option. I use my own custom made water that is similar to Florida water, but I use a different combination of oils in my own personal cleanser that I use regularly. I use it to clean my altars and sometimes other places, and it can be put into spray bottles, little spray bottles, and can then be sprayed around the room. So you can buy these types of sprays again in spiritual or witchcraft shops, or you can make your own. So again, you spray around the room with the intention set to cleanse the area of any energetic staining. So again, I'll put some links below about making cleansing fluids if you're interested in doing that. So as you are trying out different methods of cleansing, you will find what works best for you, what method you prefer, or if you use all the methods I just outlined as a first off deep cleanse. You know, what you also need to do if you were planning on building rapport with your spirit guide or spirit team, whether at this point you know who they are or not, then you should call on your guiding and protecting spirits as well and ask them to help you clear the energy in the room, and they will help guide you through the process, and they can take part in removing any stagnant negative vibrations as well. So you're asking your spirit guide or guides to cleanse through the space also. You could also ask angels to cleanse the space for you if you have an affinity with angels or are drawn to angels. Then Archangel Michael in particular is very good about, you know, he's very good about this kind of space clearing, especially if you're a beginner. You can respectfully ask outright for your guiding spirits or Archangel Michael to come into your personal space and clear out any negative energy or stagnant energy. Now, if you are watching this video because you feel that working with spirits is your path, or it's an area that you want to specialise in, then I highly recommend that you start building rapport with your spirit team from the get-go and ask them for assistance with your space clearing. I also will say that don't think that you can just repeatedly ask your guides and spirits team to clean up all the time just because you can't be bothered to do the practical part yourself. You know, as a beginner, it's good to ask them because it builds rapport and helps you to build a relationship with them. But you know, you do want to be using your chosen practical methods as well. As a beginner, you should be getting into a routine of cleansing. So you can do it monthly on the night of the dark moon. You know, lots of practitioners call it a new moon. I don't. In my practice, it's called a dark moon because that's when the Earth's shadow completely covers the moon and the moon is no longer visible in the sky at that time. That is a dark moon. Now, the new moon technically is the night after when the first sliver of moon appears, you know, as the Earth's shadow begins to move across the moon again, you know, and the moon then becomes more visible on the build up to a full moon. So anyway, that just bugs the hell out of me when people refer to a dark moon as a new moon. I don't know why they do that. Probably because they don't like the word dark, maybe. Anyway, slightly off topic. Anyway, so fortnightly or once a week or once on the dark moon, and again maybe 2 weeks later on the full moon, Or if you have a lot of people that come and go through your house all the time, a big family and lots of friends or whatever, you could have a mini cleanse with, you know, some bell ringing, or burn some herbs weekly or twice weekly, or whatever you feel you need, because ultimately this is about you. You know, this is about you learning to navigate the energy of your own home and keeping that energy exactly the way you want it to be, or the way you need it to be. And that, as a beginner in psychic development or magical practice, is clean and clear. You know, don't forget to get into corners, do stairways, hallways and cupboards, you know, little cupboards under the stairs if you have those. And, you know, when you're done with that first off intensive clear out, don't forget to thank your spirit team or guide or Archangel Michael for their assistance. Or, you know, now, you know, so now your home or your space should feel much clearer, and all you need to do is to keep on top of it. Keeping yourself and your environment in a regular state of cleanliness is also very good for your physical well-being and for your mental health as well. You know, in my opinion, everyone should be doing this along with a regular housekeeping regime, because it is so beneficial on so many levels. So anyway, I hope this video has helped you explain why you need to cleanse your personal space with regards to specifically a shamanic witchcraft practice, you know, as well as giving you the information on how to do it. So I'll put the link to this whole Shamanic Witchcraft 101 playlist in the description box, and any other relevant links. So please do like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon.